Years later, I told the New York Times columnist Dave Anderson, I was in bed with Ali. Anderson said, we all were. No, I said, I was in bed with Ali. Oh, he said. It happened in a hotel suite 3 or 4 days before some fight. The suite was the usual Ali circus madhouse of perfumed women, pimp-dressed hangers-on, sycophants, con artists, sports writers, and other reprobates. Through an open door at one side of the suite's central space, I saw Ali in bed with the sheets pulled up to his chin. On eye contact, he shouted, "My man! Louisville, come in here!" I worked for the Courier-Journal, his hometown newspaper, and first spent a day with him in 1966. Already famous and infamous as the heavyweight champion and loud-mouthed draft resister, he had come to Louisville to visit his parents and fight an exhibition bout for charity. I was a young reporter in my first year at the great newspaper and eager to do anything the editors asked. When one said, "Clay's in town, go find him," I did. We drove around the city, stopping now and then to do some business. My son, Jeff, 4 years old, rode with us, and Ali occasionally put Jeff on his lap as if he were steering the car. I thought, a nice guy. Now, in his bedroom in 1973, the noise from the central suite was maddening. Ali lifted a corner of the bedsheet and said, "Come on, get in." Over the years, I had talked with him in shower stalls and toilets, in funeral homes, log cabins, mosques, and once in a Cadillac at 85 miles per hour on a logging road through a forest. And now, this was a reporter getting close to his subject. I took off my shoes and put myself under the sheets with the once and future heavyweight champion of the world. I wore golf slacks and a polo shirt. More than most men, if not more than most narcissists, Ali loved to show off his body. He was beautiful, 6'3" and 210 pounds, with proportions so powerful and so perfectly in balance that he might have sprung to life from a Michelangelo sketch. On the off chance that you didn't notice, he often repeated what a nurse had said on prepping his groin for hernia surgery. "She took one look," Ali said, "and she went, 'Who, you are the greatest.'" Like schoolboys on a sleepover hiding their mischief, we pulled the sheets over our heads. Ali made a tent by raising his knees. Shadows danced inside our hiding place. The suite's noise seemed distant. On my back, I did an interview that ended with Ali saying, "Tell the people in Louisville this will be no contest because I am the greatest of all times." Then I asked for my notebook back. The strangest aspect of the undercover interview was that it wasn't strange. For Ali, it was characteristic. Whatever he wanted to do, he did it as soon as possible. "Come on, get in." Anything could happen around Ali, and often did. I saw him naked. I am not sure I ever saw him clearly. Howard Cosell was in his underwear. I sat at a breakfast table in his beach house on Long Island in West Hampton, New York. The sun streamed in over a marshland. I saw in the shadows across the room a ghostly shape that on inspection turned out to be my host, shuffling barefoot from his bedroom, skeletal in a white undershirt and white boxer briefs. He was bleary-eyed. He had not yet found his toupee. As Cosell noticed me, he raised his arms and struck a bodybuilder's biceps-flexing pose. Then he spoke, and this is what he said. "A killing machine the likes of which few men have ever seen." On this morning in September 1989, I had known Cosell for 12 years. Our relationship began the day I wrote a column in the Washington Post praising him as a sports broadcasting journalist without peer. I wrote that, while his excesses invited criticism, He deserved better than to be the target of mean-spirited punks, among them a Denver bar owner who allowed patrons to throw a brick at a television set carrying Cosell's image. The day the column ran, I answered my office phone. "David Kindred?" the caller said, not bothering to identify himself. "You are a perspicacious and principled young man, and it will be my honor to meet you this next week when I am at RFK for another of these Monday Night Football tortures." Sounded like Cosell. "David, this is Howard Cosell," he said. "Well, it sounded like you," I said. 12 years later, he wanted me to write his 4th memoir. We met at his place in the Hamptons. There in the kitchen, he demonstrated the complete repertoire of his domestic skills. He found the refrigerator, extracted a carton, and without injuring himself or witnesses, he poured a glass full of orange juice. His sainted wife, Emmy, said, "Took 45 years to teach him that." Cosell that morning also pleased his daughter, Hillary. "Yes," he said. "Yes, a man should walk down to the beach and see the ocean on a morning this beautiful." "We'll talk," he said to me, "after we examine Hillary's beloved beach." He put himself together. Toupee, slacks, boating shoes, sunglasses, short-sleeved shirt. He was ready. "To the beach," he said. He might have been MacArthur, about to wade ashore in the Philippines. From Cosell's deck at the edge of marshy Moneybog Bay, we walked maybe 100 yards to the beach. The Atlantic glimmered in the rising sun. The obedient father of Hillary Cosell stood at the water's edge, though not so near as to allow water to stain his shoes. He looked to the horizon. He watched a wave lap against the shore. He gave the lovely beach and the ocean's wonders 30 seconds of his time. Then he said, "Well, Hill, we saw it." Whereupon he retraced his steps to the comfort of a deck chair shaded by an umbrella. There, he talked about the book. He was certain it would make America sit up and take notice. "We will excoriate the executives in charge of network sports broadcasts," he said. "They are people without scruples, without morality, without standards, without principle, and therefore without journalism. It is far past time for someone of integrity to expose the unholy alliances between promoters, broadcasters, and the sports industry." He was a master of excoriation. He had excoriated most everyone in his 3rd book. I was not in favor of more excoriation. That was not the book I wanted to write. But before I could say so, Cosell was in full cry about miscreants real and imagined, past and future. At that point, I did what millions of Americans had learned to do with Howard Cosell. I gave up, and I listened. We had no choice, really, except to listen to Ali and Cosell. Across much of the last half of the 20th century, they were major players in American sports. Had they been practitioners of traditional humility, their extraordinary talents alone would have demanded that attention be paid. But there was nothing traditional about Ali and Cosell. A thimble would have contained their humility, with room left over for an elephant. Ali's shortest poem served as the foundation for most of his wakeful thinking. It went, "Me? We!" Cosell was a lawyer, and thus inoculated against such brevity. He once wrote, "Arrogant, pompous, obnoxious, vain, persecuting, distasteful, verbose, a show-off. I have been called all of these. Of course, I am." Before Ali, sports was a slow dance. After, it was rock and roll. A child of the 1950s, Ali grew up with the Temptations, Elvis, and Fats Domino. You know who started me saying, "I am the greatest"? Little Richard did. Ali was 15 years old when he staked out Lloyd Price at Louisville's Top Hat Lounge to tell the singer he would be the heavyweight champion someday and, "Please, Mr. Price, tell me how to make out with girls." When Ali beat Sonny Liston the first time, the singer Sam Cooke sat at ringside with 2 more of the fighter's heroes, Malcolm X and Sugar Ray Robinson. Before Cosell, sports on television was a reverential production. After, it was a circus.